Hello, I'm Sarah Hanson. I'm one of the Pathways place-based coaches with South of Scotland Enterprise, and I've been working with people to develop their business ideas into projects where they work for themselves across Dumfries and Galloway and South of Scotland. I've picked the topic of confidence through communication and being able to say what you want because I found this has been relevant to everyone I've worked with on this initiative over the last couple of years. And in this video, I'm going to share some simple principles to help your words have more impact, whether in conversation or even in written emails, message exchanges with people, to help you grow your business. So how do you find the confidence to ask for what you want and say what it is that you'd like to other people? Well, when I teach and train people in these skills, I start with one simple principle. Start with the end in mind. Being able to visualize where you want to end up with this person and what your best possible outcome is. Because so often the excitement and the emotion of having that first booking or that first inquiry is putting us at risk of saying yes to anything rather than considering, is this actually going to work for me? And what are the practicalities of making this work in terms of the time, the investment of either going somewhere to deliver a certain service for an individual or a group of people, or producing something that is going to satisfy your client. And declaring your ideal outcome isn't about being bossy or shouting at a certain volume. It's being clearer on what you do and what's going to work for you. You have the luxury when you're starting a new business to experiment a little and find out what does work for you. I am thinking of the words a colleague told me once. Treat this as a dress rehearsal. Go in being curious as to, well, what works and what you'd want to do more of, but also what's a bit of a challenge that you need to overcome so that you can make a better informed decision about what you are keen to do more of when you're talking to clients or prospects in future. What I also come back to time and time again is talking about your ideal situation. Often people know what they don't want, what's not going to work for them, but it's more challenging to visualize what it is that you want instead. And I say this when I think about people who need to collaborate or negotiate with potentially suppliers or contractors that they're working alongside when they're setting up a business. It is difficult at times for people to say what their ideal is, and there are ways of practicing that even out loud to yourself so that you know what your budget is, what your time is, what your deadlines are, so that you can put those to other people. The other piece of advice is to really listen to what people are saying to you. If they call you up or they contact you with an inquiry, to be able to react to exactly what they said. For example, if somebody contacts you because you're a photographer and they're inquiring about you doing a shoot for them, to say, I'd love to take your photograph. Here's what I'm thinking, and offer them a couple of suggestions. Alternatively, if it's an inquiry about creating something, a bespoke piece of furniture for somebody, I'd love to make that for you. You're starting out with what you actually want and reaffirming the relationship between you and the person that's making the inquiry. From there, then you can give them a couple of reasons as to why. And that comes to the last piece of advice that I want to give in this video. Too often, people over-justify themselves, whether that's on the reasons that they're not available to do something, which is at risk of losing the attention and the focus of the person listening, And my best advice is to flip that around. Tell people what you can do and when you're available to do it for them, so that they're clearer on what it is that you want to do and when you're able to do it. It's quite a switch from the typical approach where we feel we need to explain ourselves and explain all the why and get all those reasons out. And actually we flip that around to say, absolutely, that'll work. I can do it on Tuesday or I can do it on Friday. What suits you better? Then people feel more comfortable. They know where you stand, and that clarity is being kind, because the more ambiguous you are, the more people fill in the blanks. But there's a lovely Brené Brown quote, being clear is being kind, and being unclear is unkind. So when people know where they stand, or where you stand, it's easier for them to visualize that this can work. And okay, this is the time I need to invest. This is what's going to be involved. This is what I can expect. All right, I can make a decision based on that information up front. So just 2 things to take from this video. The first is to talk about what it is that you want in the present or in the future, because the one thing we can't change is the past. So talking about what you'd like or how you're going to go about it is going to be far more productive and better use of your time. And secondly, take a position first and then offer an explanation if need be. Yes, I'm available, or I can do it, I'd love to do it, but it'll be July or November. How does that work for you? And that way, people know where you stand and are more likely to respect your position and make a better informed decision on the information that you give, rather than being lost in trying to follow the explanations and the whys and the wherefores.